Jim's retirement to 2015.
Cross that off.
Heard you got the inside.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. The next item, I'm going to need Robin's assistance and Bill Shear maybe on, if we would. This is a network upgrade for $115,000, and whoever wants to come up and explain the intricacies of this to the board, please.
Well, I will give intricacies back to Robin,
Okay.
but just in terms of what we're asking for, currently the network works, and we are able to use it. However, we are experiencing that our staff and students use the network quite a bit more than they ever have in the past. And as that need grows, the state is also putting increased requirements on us to have us be able to perform state testing. Robin performed some magic in this past spring by actually staging different labs in different quadrants of the building to make sure that the speeds didn't affect the testing program, because that allowed them to be picking up on different parts of the network. So we think that this is in addition to that, many of our switches have outlived the life that we're told that they have. So we think that this is a very good opportunity to move forward in terms of our network supports. So, and switches are the primary hubs that provide access for internet and network speeds. So the intersections, if you will.
And we have an idea of the age of the current system and the implications to the town and the other buildings that may be affected by this upgrade.
I'm sure Robin has more information on that.
I knew that she had more information on that.
Try. Robin McKenney, I'm the technology director in East Lyme schools. What we're looking to do is to upgrade our network to 10 gigabyte, that's the new standard, the 10 gig network. Currently our network is 1 gig in most places. So we're looking to improve the connections between the schools and the wiring within the schools. Mostly that's in response to the increased demands for bandwidth. And that's in anything from Common Core, which is requiring production and use of video, all sorts of materials, multimedia materials for students. And I logged on to our wireless yesterday and noticed that between 7:30 and 8 in the morning, 400 additional wireless users popped in. That was 7:30 in the morning till 8. I mean, we can graph it and see. That's a lot of wireless users in a very short period of time. So we know our network is in heavy use. We know that the demands of state testing are increasing every year as more and more tests are going to be held in the schools online. And we're looking at like SATs and ACT, all of these big tests that we know about that used to be paper and pencil. So that's one of our reasons that we want to. And we know that if we want to continue to sort of be progressive in the way that we educate our kids and the services that we provide, we need to be proactive and keep updating our network. So over the past couple of years, we've done a lot of things to position our network to be ready to move up to 10 gig, and now we are ready. In the operating budget, we have a 10 gig core, so that allows us to now start putting the fiber in through the buildings. So that's sort of the big picture.
50,000 foot. Is there discussions, or how would you like to proceed?
Let's make a resolution and put it on the table. Resolution making an appropriation in the amount of $115,000 for planning, design, construction, and installation of district-wide network upgrades, and authorizing the issuance of $115,000 bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. A copy of which is attached hereto, is it hereby adopted and recommended for approval by the Board of Finance and the legal voters of the town at town meeting.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Is there further discussion, questions?
So, Robin, this is throughout all the schools?
It would be through the schools, yes.
So, again, getting back to Ms. Hardy's point, we'd be making upgrades in schools that may possibly not exist.
Potentially, but I feel my obligation is to bring forward the best plan I can for our network. And if we built new schools, we don't know how far out that might be, but we do know that right now CEN, who's our network delivery, is very capable of handing us a 10 gig handoff to our school, and we're not taking advantage of it. And so, you know, as we pass data to different schools, when we send data to central office in Flanders, it's a 1 gig connection, but to the middle school, it's only half gig, and Niantic Center, it's only a half gig connection. So we're not giving them the best experience. If we really wanted to pull back, there are parts of the project we might choose not to do, but I think the overall big picture project really, if you ask me what the best practice is and what I feel is the right thing to do, I would say that's the right thing to do.
And I realize that with the pace of technology and the demands, it's difficult to forecast how long this is going to be. But is this a 2-year fix, a 5-year fix, a 10-year fix? Again, I can't hold you to this, but your best guess.
No, you asked me the same question. I sit around and I harangue my network guys about it. I'm like, yeah, but, you know, how long is this really going to last before you're telling me I got to go to 100 gig, you know?
Right.
And CEN is already going to 100 gig, and there's this, you know, Internet 2 out there that's looking scary and stuff. So if I can't look into a crystal ball because technology changes so much, but I feel at least 5 to 7 years we'd be good, and probably longer, because there's a certain point, you know, where you can only go so much. But then again, 6 years ago, no one heard of an iPad, so things are changing really, really quick. But I feel like this is a good fix for, you know,
Yes.
the
And
next
just
few
from a
years.
demographic point of view, we're not looking at a huge influx of additional students who will be utilizing more.
At this
As
point.
far as, you know, again, looking at demographic trends generally, we're not.
This I feel is more to continue to make our network, you know, to be proactive in building our network and sustaining a network that can manage the kinds of business and education functions that we're asking it to do. So.
Did you have a?
Just make a comment on the demographics. With the work that we're doing with respect to the elementary schools, with the architect and everything, we've had lots of discussions about additional demographic studies to make sure we know exactly what might be coming in the community. Right now, based on all the data that we have from the NESDEC firm that we hire, it looks like the enrollment rates are still going down, but they seem to be maybe flattening out. We're probably going to we're going to discuss this at the Board of Ed meeting on Monday, but we think that it would be wise to have some additional demographic work done, looking out into the future, so we know exactly what the probability is that how many classrooms we would actually really need. So, but right now, our best data says that it's flat, and maybe still going down. So.
And Robin, one more question. This upgrade would take into account, okay, we're not going to have more students, but now we know that every single kindergartner is coming in with their own iPhone. I mean, but that sort of.
It's that whole, it used to be a 1-to-1, and now if you
Yeah.
look at the literature, it's X-to-1. How many devices is each kid walking in with? Their phone, their iPad, their laptop, and your teachers as well. And one thing, too, I want to point out, and I don't know if this puts your mind at ease at all, the bulk of this project really is, there's wiring between buildings, there's wiring within the middle school, there's the middle school core switch. The only wiring within buildings is at Flanders and Lily B. Haynes, and out of the whole project, that's like $8,600, so it's a small, the fiber within those two elementary schools is smaller, and we actually didn't put wiring in for Niantic at this time because it's far off on the loop, so, you know, and we didn't put wiring in for the high school because we feel the wiring there would be sufficient at this time. So there's a couple things, we said we could phase those in as the next phase of this project to try to be economical.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Anyone else?
In a comparison to, like, say, Waterford High, I mean, they just basically redid all the schools in Waterford, pretty much completed. What do they have there?
You know, I don't know if they've got 10 gig. I would think when they were building new infrastructure, they would have, because that's kind of the new standard. Don last year sort of sent out to his listserv, you know, who's got 10 gig, and people were sort of starting to migrate there. It's becoming more and more the standard.
And how long have we been at one Forever?
Since I've been here, since they built the network, probably, right, Don?
So the network was built on the one?
Whatever recent upgrades we've, I don't know when.
I have no idea.
That was-
I'm only trying to get a gist on whether
At
we
least 8
started
years,
at
'cause
one
I've been
and
here that long.
it's just, now we're at 10 and 10 is the new deal.
10's the new standard right
Yeah,
now.
that's fine with me. I
Makes
just,
sense.
I just don't know that, if you don't do this, you're not gonna, the whole thing at one point's gonna crash down and then,
Flat
I don't want to
done.
be all doom and gloom, but I feel like we've done a really great job of building our technology, and the town has just been incredible in supporting it. And this is the next natural step in building our network. And over the last couple of years, we've really worked hard to build to this point, so we're ready. So, which is exciting because we're there.
Further conversation?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Mr. Siri told me that I could use his time as well. So,
I guess I did, sure, certainly.
you mentioned that there might be some benefits for other town buildings. Did I hear you say that? Did I hear that correctly?
I
Oh, I
thought,
think you might
there
have
were some
asked that.
implications, and I didn't know if there were or not, and this is not
This would be
connected
for
to
the
that.
school.
Bill
Yeah.
is shaking his head behind you.
No, this would be for the
So
schools.
this is just
yeah.
the school, so that was my error.
Is there any possibility that with additional funds, not this year, but that could branch off and benefit the other town buildings?
I know that you guys were looking at getting a CEN handoff. I don't know where you are in that process right now or how that relates to us at this point. Do you know where?
I'm
there
not
were some-
sure either.
There were some discussions about that, I think, like last year, but I don't know where that ended up.
There's some of the upgrades with the fiber networks that we're talking
Yeah.
about,
Yeah.
that I think the Ennis, the grant that we did tonight,
Bill's-
the nuclear
Bill's got his
safety
hand up.
grant, has part of that. Bill is looking like he's ready to get up, so I may let him do that. Thank you, Rob.
The state has just opened up the CEN network to us also, just recently, and the grant you approved, the 8,000, is for the police station and dispatch, and we're currently working within the Nutmeg grant program to tie in the town hall and Niantic Fire Station and the community center. So that'll hopefully be happening very soon. So we'll be on the same network as them.
And that will be covered by the amount of money that we approved this evening, or is there additional funding needed
The
for
money
that?
this evening was for the police station and dispatch.
Right.
The Nutmeg grant, which I believe we've already
We've applied for that nutmeg grant. I
No, but
haven't heard whether we've
I
received it or
don't know
not.
if we've gone through the appropriation process or not. I don't remember. But the community center, we're gonna cover within our current budget. And if we have not appropriated it, we'll come before you and appropriate the Nutmeg grant for this building. So we're almost there.
So when all of that happens, and maybe, I don't know who answers this, is there interconnectability when we have emergency things happening and we have to connect with the schools and public works and water and sewer in the town? Is this upgrade that the school is going to have, is that going to be of some benefit, or?
Well, our internet speeds will be so fast that we could do VPNs, virtual private networks, between any building, any location we wanted to for a direct connect. It'll be just like having a huge pipeline everywhere in town. So we're almost there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Further questions or comments?
Are there any potentials for state reimbursements for this as part of this problem as a result of the unfunded state mandate?
I think you answered your question.
There it is, unfunded.
Yeah, unfunded.
Yeah, but there's no grant money available.
Not at this time. There might be down the road.
Thank you.
Further comments or discussion?
I can't, she took my time.
Okay. So we have a motion and a
Yes.
second, or we don't?
Yes.
We do? Okay. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose or abstain?
I will abstain.
Ms. Hardy abstains. Next item is the tennis court. This has been an item that has needed addressing for a number of years. There's been, again, some patchwork and Band-Aids done on this, but you have in your packet, I believe, copies of pictures of the tennis court. If not, I have these 3 pictures. This is, as you see this by the sticky note, it says tennis court pictures for the board to look at.
Paul, for your information, we had some public delegation tonight. It gave us great detail about the issues down there, too.
Okay. And so there's pictures, and then this is a kind of a copy of what they're gonna look like. I'm not sure if these are the colors, Steve, that we're looking at, or they,
That's all fully negotiable.
huh?
Fully negotiable colors.
Yeah, so we'd probably get our colors. I don't know, these look like they might be even Waterford colors.
I know,
I'm
that's
not-
what maroon
I'm
and
not
white.
sure that I'm not sure we're looking to install Waterford
Denied.
colors, should this go further, but
Should be
this is
maroon and
the
white.
kind of the idea, and I don't know if you want to look at it or not, but this would be a complete upgrade, kind of holding off on this item, including it in the bond package for a number of years until we could kind of feather it in and not have much of an impact on the graph, as you see. So this is a $725,000 item to repair all of these courts, and our athletic director, Mr. Hargis, Steve Hargis, is here, and I guess you want to go over that, or you?
Yeah.
Mr. Selectman, the
have
number is wrong
715.
on the agenda. It's 715,000.
The resolution is right.
Okay, thank you.
See, we're saving money already. Amazing how this can work.
So, I don't know if, did you want to say something?
Yeah, Paul, the 14 years I was on the Board of Ed, every year, we heard how awful the tennis courts were, and that was the year we were gonna fix them. I don't think anybody needs to know first of all, how great they've been maintained considering the condition they've been in. People have done yeoman service in maintaining them to be, so they can even be played upon over the last several years, so I'm most supportive of this.
This is an item, Kevin, in your 14 years, this is an item that you have found that not only the tennis team uses, but the members of the public, is this?
A lot of members of the public, in fact, at night when you see people walking the track, you see lights on over at the tennis court because members of the community be using them on a regular basis. This is not only a school resource, but definitely a community resource.
And honestly, if you read the sports page, they're kicking butt, basically, all over southeastern Connecticut and the state, our teams. And really, it's amazing that they've got it done for as long as they have with what the facility is. And Kevin's absolutely correct. When I was on the Board of Ed in 1993, we were going to do them then, and they never got done. So it's just way overdue.
Okay.
I'll make the following resolution. Resolution making an appropriation in the amount of $715,000 for planning, design, rehabilitation, and improvement of the tennis court facility, and authorizing the issuance of $715,000 in bonds of the town to meet said appropriation, and pending the issuance of thereof, the making of temporary borrowings for such purpose. A copy of which is attached hereto, is hereby adopted and recommended for approval by the Board of Finance and the legal voters of the town at town meeting.
Second.
Solution has been made and seconded. Is there discussion on this item?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
I hear comments frequently that there are people that would like to play on the courts, but there's waiting time. Sometimes there aren't enough courts available. Does this plan include expansion of the courts by adding additional courts?
We'll ask Mr. Hargis, who is the athletic director, and did anybody speak to the tennis court committee, or?
No, I was just going to
Okay.
make
Yeah,
a
yeah.
point of that. I think we need to thank our the committee that was appointed by Dr. Lombardo on behalf of the Board of Education, when there was a number of people who came to the Board of Education very concerned about the tripping hazards, the lights not working properly, and it was co-chaired to myself and Dave Putnam, because this resource is not a high school resource. These are the only tennis courts we have in East Lyme. And so when you look at this resource, we wanted to be sure that we had it well represented. That include people from the community who use tennis courts, Jeff McNamara. I think many of you know Jim Capides, who has worked with West Hartford Parks and Recreation, and himself working in the school systems. We had our 2 tennis coaches. So this really was a community-based committee, and they really did a yeoman's work, including field trips to other facilities, including Newtown, where we saw brand-new asphalt courts versus the new post-tension concrete systems, which we are recommending in this program, which gives you a 25 to 30-year warranty, not the 3-year warranty. So these are the difference. One of the issues that we did have is that we have courts that are not able to be played on from time to time, which really creates this. It's not really a consistent issue. It's more like, for example, our posts continue to fall in to the tennis courts, which makes some tennis courts unplayable. The cracks that you see in the basketball court, ours are now 2 to 3 inches wide. To be very thankful for coaches like we have who will allow practice on there. I don't know how they allow that, except for they work very hard to duct tape. I see Susan Walshock out there on a regular basis duct taping the cracks on 2 of our 6 courts. So the plan is not to have more courts, it's to make the courts that we have more efficient and more effective for use, including nighttime use. Right now, we cannot even have consistent nighttime use because the electrical system that's used right now to drive the lights that we have is one of the, it's original with the school. So if you can imagine, it's like the old, if I want to turn on my automatic lighting system, automatic timer, and I had to move the pegs around. Well, this is that, stuck way back in the wrestling room. So hopefully the greater efficiency and the ability of these courts to be all-weather courts and to have a better lighting system, it just makes the whole program that much better. And we're looking forward to it as a great community resource.
So it's the same number of courts?
Yes, because it's really, it's not feasible for us to really add more courts in the space that we have back there and keep the other resources we have available for the school and the community. I just feel as though it's an effectiveness issue and a use issue and a scheduling issue, like we have now with some of our other resources. It is a challenge, but one that I think is, if managed well, can be handled.
Thank you.
Further comments? Okay, what is your pleasure?
You got a hand up in the back.
This is a member of the tennis community?
Yes. Ann Santoro, 11 Rose Lane.
What,
Yep, Ann Santoro, 11 Rose Lane.
I just need to, I'm sorry, I
Yes.
just need, are you a member of the public
Yes.
speaking up?
Yes.
This is kind of inappropriate for you to speak at this time. We'll give you an opportunity to speak
Okay.
on this item at public comment. If you were part of the committee or
No.
part of this,
No, it's okay. I didn't speak previously. And
Okay.
I can give you a quick answer to Ms. Hardy's
I don't
question.
know how you guys want to allow, this is probably not allowed, it would open up to everything else.
Okay.
But,
No worries.
okay, that's okay. I don't mean to not let you speak. I hope that you're going to speak after, in public comment.
Sorry. We have a motion.
And a
We
second.
have been seconded as well.
You do, okay. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, thank you. The next item is discussion action regarding resolution of refunding of general obligation bonds. As you know, in the interest environment since 2008, we've not generated much interest income on the money that we have able to do that with the low interest rates. So we've taken advantage of that since 2009 by refunding some of the high interest rate bonds that we've had. And we've refunded a total of $27,790,000 to get lower interest rates over that period of time, saving $2,039,350, which is our current saving. Thank you all very much. What is before you this evening is another opportunity to be refunded, and I credit Anna Johnson working with our investment advisors to ferret these out to find out where we can save this money. We have $5,560,000 of par debt to be refunded, with an estimated additional savings of $317,600 that we'll save by refunding these bonds, for a total of savings of $2,356,000 on the $33 million. So, Anna, if you want to come up and speak a little bit about it, we're looking for a resolution with respect to the authorization and issuance and sale of not exceeding $6 million of Town East Lyme general obligation refunding bonds. And I don't think we have to read the entire resolution, but you could refer to it as the attached item. And if you have any questions regarding this item that I've not been able to answer with my short review, then you can certainly ask Anna. And you see the total payments before the refunding, $6,991,000. After, it would be $6,674,000 for an estimated total of $317,000. So,
We hadn't decided yet prior to the meeting when the special town meeting would be. Are we on that right now?
No,
no, we're on
Why
the
am I missing
refunding
that?
of the.
Oh, just to move the okay, I
the
apologize.
resolution with respect.
I jumped ahead. Move to approve the resolution entitled Resolution with respect to the authorization, issuance, and sale of not exceeding $6 million Town of East Lyme general obligation refunding bonds, a copy of which is attached hereto.
Second.
Made and seconded.
Apologize
Is
for
there
that.
discussion on this or any questions for Anna? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose or abstain? Okay, motion carries. The next item is the sign call for the special town meeting. We need a town meeting for a number of these items that were on the agenda this evening. And as you know, the next regularly scheduled Board of Selectmen meeting is the same night as the East Lyme High School graduation. We have, I have an obligation to attend, and we have two parents that certainly would rather attend that than a Board of Selectmen
Plus
meeting.
Roseanne has an obligation there as well.
Roseanne, okay, so it looks like we'll move that
In
meeting,
other
but
words, we're all gone.
we're all done, so.
Have a good night.
So we're having trouble, as Darlene has kind of put out some feelers as to when another Board of Selectmen meeting will be held, and it's been difficult in terms of trying to get a quorum in that week or the following week, so.
We could still do, we don't need a quorum for a town meeting. I mean,
Right.
we
Right.
could just schedule a town meeting and
So the question
So
that,
that's what we're gonna ask.
came up, or the day came up of June 19th,
Right.
which is the day after, it's a Thursday. I'm throwing it out, I'm not, saying that has to be it, but I don't know who could attend that night, I don't remember. You can attend?
I can
You can
now.
attend, you can attend, Mark?
Yes. Holly can, I know that Rob and I cannot.
Okay, so we would get 4 out of 6 of us
That's good.
here for the town meeting and not have a Board of Selectmen meeting. The next scheduled Board of Selectmen meeting is July 2nd, which is the Wednesday, so we may be able to move our business over to the July 2nd meeting and not have a second meeting.
Okay.
Really, the item is, we want to talk about the care hair discussion, and they're going to come back up. I want to give them time to travel from Nashville to come up here for that. But short of that and some other
well, if anything,
items,
if anything important, if something's critical on the 19th, you will have a quorum so we could transact some.
okay.
If anything important.
All right, if something happens to come up as an emergency.
Yeah,
So,
right.
so
Agreed.
do we want to just then schedule the town meeting for the 19th and then hold off on the Board of Selectmen meeting? Or do you want to try to do the Board of Selectmen meeting on the 19th with the 4 members that we'll have? What is your pleasure? Or,
I would say, unless it's an emergency,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
go to the.
Have your
second.
town meeting, and if something comes up, like Kevin said, you have plenty of time to announce a special meeting that night.
okay. So we have a sign call, I think, is on.
Sign call, am I reading the whole thing through?
Did we
No.
vote on the resolution?
We just did all of those.
Which resolution?
The
On
one
the
just
bonding?
before
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
We voted,
Yeah, I
okay.
was the confused one there. So Tracy, do I have to read all the items of the sign call?
Please say
2.5
no.
pages?
I think
Three
you just
pages.
say is
Attached.
attached, right?
As attached?
Oh, I feel
You
bad
could say
news.
as attached and that you read through all of those resolutions tonight,
Okay, good.
and the
Would we
clerk
Would we
has
list
a
the
copy of
items
it.
on the sign call instead of each paragraph about them, just? or-
I'll do that. I'll make it a abbreviated
Before you do
item.
that, do we have to post this entire thing in the paper? The
Yes,
entire thing?
yes.
Talking a couple $1,000
Wow.
here?
I don't believe the legislature has ruled, or they
of course
didn't
not.
pass the law that we asked them as a group of municipalities to pass, allowing us to post a notice indicating intent at the town meeting and then have the explicit detail on our website. But we've been lobbying for that for a couple of years, but I don't think that's passed the legislatures because the newspaper lobbies seem to be a little bit stronger than.
I'll move the following. This is special town, the town of East Lyme, notice a special town meeting. Notice is hereby given of a special town meeting to be held at the East Lyme Town Hall, 108 Pennsylvania Avenue, Niantic, Connecticut, at 7:00 p.m. on June 19th, Thursday night, to consider and take action on the following. And details are attached. One, to approve an appropriation to the Board of Ed in the amount of $304,060. Which would be a lot of technology and the one-ton dump truck. Number two, to approve an appropriation in the amount of $300,079 for the purpose of acquiring, by way of lease, various vehicles and equipment as part of the fiscal year 2014-15 equipment acquisition plan. Number three, to approve an appropriation in the amount of $189,000 to the capital non-reoccurring expense fund for various projects. Four, to approve an appropriation in the amount of $94,200 from the CNRE Fund 32 for various equipment in coordination with the acquisition program. Number five, to approve an appropriation in the amount of $183,247 for the capital non-recurring expense fund for the 2013 school security grant program. Five, to receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to a resolution making an appropriation in the amount of $900,000 for the rehabilitation of various town roads. Seven, to consider and act upon a resolution entitled Resolution Making Appropriation in the amount of $900,000. Sorry, that's duplicated there.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, so I'll go to number 8. It looks like I want to strike number 6. No? Leave that there?
Yes. Number 6 is to receive communications for the
Got it.
rehabilitation of the town roads in the amount of $900,000.
Okay, I understand how the system works now.
And to appropriate, to bond for it is what's important.
So communication, and then number 7, to bond for that. Number 8, to receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance with respect to the resolution entitled Resolution Making Appropriation in the amount of $100,000 for the planning, design, and construction of various capital improvements to Peretz Park. 9, to consider and act upon the resolution of the $100,000 for Peretz Park. 10, to receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance with respect to the resolution entitled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $230,000 for planning, design, construction, replacement, installation of a new roof at the Board of Ed Central Office. 11, to consider and act upon said resolution of $230,000 for the new roof. 12, to receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance with respect to the resolution titled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $115,000 for the planning, design, construction, and installation of district-wide network upgrades. And 13, to consider and act upon said resolution of the $115,000 for the network upgrades. To receive communication, number 14, to receive communication from the Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance, respect for a resolution entitled Resolution Making an Appropriation in the amount of $715,000 for the new tennis courts. And number 15, to consider and act upon a resolution for those tennis courts of $715,000. And 16, to transact any other business proper to come before the meeting. Copy of the proposed bond resolutions are on file and open to public inspection at the office of the town clerk. And they'll be dated this day, the 4th of June, 2014, by the Board of Selectmen.
Seconds.
Subject to Board of Finance approval. Motion is made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
You have that there for us to sign.
Did we have a
Did you
time?
sign it already?
Is there a time on that?
7
Yes.
o'clock is the meeting.
Okay.
Yes.
We have some unfinished business about the business entity listing.
I'll
Did you?
pass tonight.
We're going to push that to the next agenda,
Yes.
Karen, please. Communications, any information or reports? Any ex officio reports?
We've been here for a long time, I'll pass.
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 So we will pass ex officio reports then. Public comment, Mr. Rando? I have a... Anna, could you make a copy of this, please? I have
Well, we spent a lot of money tonight, didn't we?
a copy of this for you. Just make a copy.
for your signature.
I got a few things to say. I'll tell the first thing I want to start with is a new school roof.
Market.
We put a roof on the school and we tore it down for $700,000. Are we going to do the same thing here? We're not going to tear it down now, but maybe a couple of years later we will. We're going to waste another couple $100,000 of the taxpayers' money. You know, that tennis court, I've been around this town for a long time. You know, that tennis court up there is built on a swamp. The water runs right underneath it. That's where your big problem comes down off that bank in the back, goes under that court. If you're gonna spend $700,000 on a tennis court, maybe you should look and move it to a new location. Or, if you're gonna build it there, you're gonna have to put a good drainage system in there. That's your big problem. It's always been. Now, the other question I have to the board is our solar panel place up there. Dirt washed out, went into the Cranberry Meadow Brook, it went into Latimer's Brook, into the river. Not only once, but twice. Now, I was on the Board of Selectmen and I tried to get an idea. We had a meeting down there at the Underwater Sound Lab, and we still haven't got anything done on cleaning up Dodge Pond. Now we got mud and dirt in these two brooks and the river. Now I want to know who's going to clean it up and who's going to pay for it. It's not the taxpayer's problem to clean that up. I can remember a few years ago when I had a street sweeper parked behind my shop, and the town people went crazy about sand going into the brook. They made me plant grass seed, clean it up, and no sand ever went into the brook anyway. But here we got contractors that put that place up there. Somebody should be held accountable for dumping that mud in our waterways. So I would like to see something done about that. And I would say if our grand list would grow a little bit, we wouldn't have to borrow all this money. Bond it to do this, bond it to do that. You're just putting it on our kids and my kids and their kids back. Just like the state of Connecticut. We had a $65 billion bonding debt. Now we just bonded another billion, so now we got $66 billion. And these people that we got running for office say there's nothing wrong with that. So, I don't know. I don't understand with all and this dump truck, $66,000 for a dump truck for the height for the school at Board of Education. How often do they use a dump truck at the Board of Education? Now, that's on the agenda today, so you can answer my question, somebody. It's on the agenda today, so you can talk to me about that. How often do they use a dump truck at the Board of Education?
This is a one-ton dump truck. It's kind of a pickup truck with a dump body on it. So they were in line for a pickup truck, which would be somewhere between $35,000